Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda, and today I wanted to share with you my next bi-monthly TBR. So these are the books that I hope to read during the months of September and October, and I picked kind of fall themed, a little bit spooky books just to kind of keep me in that mood for the beginning of fall and the Halloween season. So in no particular order, I guess we'll just start with the first book on my stack here, which is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. This is a Phantom of the Opera retelling that has sparked my interest basically since I heard about it probably 2 years ago. And I really love Phantom of the Opera as a musical. I read the book and I wasn't as intrigued by it just because I guess what I wanted was more of a story, and that was more of a historical telling of kind of the events around the opera house and why they thought there was a phantom, I think. It's been a while since I've read that, so I don't exactly remember. But this, I think, will be more of a fictionalized story and kind of probably a romance. And I just want to be back in that sort of world in a story setting versus just watching the movie again, because I've seen it like 1,000 times. And Emmy Rossum's hair is goals in that movie. I've loved it so much. So I'm really excited to read this Phantom of the Opera inspired retelling during the month. Another book I have is a book that I have had on my shelves since basically after I read Twilight, and I was still kind of in that phase. I don't know if I am anymore, but I have 3 of the books in this series, so I just want to know what it's about and if I'm even gonna like it. But that is Fallen by Lauren Kate, and I think there's shapeshifters in this, or maybe an angel. I don't really know. It's been a long time since I've actually read the synopsis, but I think it would be the perfect time during this season to read this, at least this first book. But I mean, the font in this is huge, so even though these are a little chunky, maybe I can fly through all 3 of these books. I think there might be 4 or 5 total, so I'll probably have to see if I can get the next ones. But basically, I want to know if these are any good and if I want to keep them on my shelves or if I want to unhaul them finally. It's about time. The next book I have is a classic, and that is Frankenstein by, is it Mary Shelley or Percy Shelley? It's Shelley something. Mary Shelley. I've never read Frankenstein, but it's a story I know pretty well, I think. So it would be interesting to see how the adaptations of Frankenstein I've experienced over the years actually hold up to the original classic. This is a really short book. It's under 200 pages, so I do really want to read it. I read Dracula last year and I thought it was really good. So I am really intrigued by the actual Frankenstein story. And the next book I have is a witchy book that apparently is set during summer, but I've kept it for a long time as a Halloween October read just because it is witchy. And that is The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. What I know about this book is that there were these 3 sisters that I believe were drowned for witchcraft, and every summer they come back and impersonate 3 women in the town and basically drown 3 of the boys or something like that. That's pretty much all I know, and I don't want to know too much going into it because I think it's just going to be a fun story. So looking forward to reading this. Probably for October is when I'm going to save this for. And then the next book I have is a book that came out October 8th of last year, and I wanted to read it in the spring but never got around to it. So I figure October, for its 1-year anniversary, might be a good time as well. And that is Blanca Era by Anna Marie McLemore. And this is kind of a Swan Lake retelling. You have two sisters, I believe, who I think kind of have to go against each other. And I think one of them could potentially be trapped by a bevy of swans that live near them. And then these two local boys kind of get drawn into the game. I don't want to know too much more about it. I've read all of Anna Marie McLemore's backlist titles, so this is the only one I haven't read. And she is pretty much an auto-buy author for me at this point. I think I've given all of her books 4 out of 5 stars. So I am really interested to see what she does with this story, because Swan Lake is definitely a beloved ballet for me. So I just want to see what she does with this story. I think it's going to be really great though, and I have very high expectations for this. This was my most anticipated read or release of 2018, and I still haven't gotten to it, so I definitely need to. And the next 2 books I have are the next books in the Outlander series. I took a bit of a break for July and August, so I've got what is this one? A Breath of Snow and Ashes and An Echo in the Bone. My friend Bailey absolutely flew through these. I've been listening to these on audiobook, and I think this is the one she thinks I'm gonna like the most, because I kind of have a love to hate relationship with these. The stories are so drawn out and just so dramatic, and I feel like the characters should have learned from their mistakes, past mistakes by this point, but they still kind of get drawn into the same drama and traps. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And I think in Breath of Snow and Ashes, a big question that I want to know the answer to gets answered. And I want to say An Echo in the Bone was maybe one of Bailey's favorites, but I can't recall at this point. But if I read these 2, then I'm only going to have 1 left. And after that, I think she's releasing another. So that is it for this TBR. I hope you enjoyed, and I will chat with you down in the comments until my next video. Bye!